A few months ago, I went back to my hometown. I thought revisiting the old hospital would be easy. I was 30 and had focused on medical research for years. The building was empty, with peeling paint and rusted equipment. A musty smell lingered in the air. I had never really stopped thinking about it. As I walked the deserted hallways, something felt off. My footsteps echoed loudly. It was too silent. I climbed the stairs, and the air thickened around me. I wondered if I could find something to help my thesis on hospital architecture and mental health. When I reached the upper floor, I saw a patient room. The door was slightly open, almost inviting. I shouldn't have opened it, but I felt drawn to it. Inside, dust hung in the air. A cracked window let in a chilly draft. I spotted an old journal on the floor. The pages were yellow and worn. I picked it up and started to read. The entries talked about strange treatments and occurrences with patients. It felt unreal. I decided to take the journal, thinking it would add depth to my research. That night in my hotel room, I flipped through the journal again. As I read, the air grew colder. I thought I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. My heart raced. I tried to shake off the feeling of unease. I wondered if the hospital was messing with my mind. The words in the journal seemed to mirror my own thoughts, making me feel even more unsettled. Each night grew stranger. I dreamed of the hospital's past patients. Their faces were blurry but filled with whispers I couldn't understand. I started to worry I was losing touch with reality. Then I noticed the entries in the journal. They began to look like my handwriting. I couldn't explain it. Panic washed over me. The journal felt oddly heavy in my hands. Suddenly, it showed things I never wanted to see. I froze. Was I going mad? Memories flooded in, things I thought were buried. I felt cold all over. I questioned everything I knew about myself and that hospital. Then came the sound. I heard footsteps echoing in the empty halls. The noise grew louder, closer. My breath quickened. I turned, heart racing. I thought I was alone, but I wasn't so sure anymore. I felt eyes on me. In the dim light of the hallway, I saw a figure. A woman stood at the end, staring. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Hannah Stubbs, my childhood friend. She looked different, her face pale and eyes sunken. There was a vacant expression on her face. "Hannah," I called out, fear creeping into my voice. "Help me," she whispered. I took a step closer, but I sensed something wrong. She looked right through me, her gaze empty. The shadows around her seemed to shift, swallowing her up. "Hannah, what happened?" I stammered. "Don't let it take you," she said, her voice fading into,
I blinked, and she was gone. I felt a chill slide down my spine. Alone in the dark hall, I realized I was no longer the same. I felt the presence from the journal pulsing through the air, more real than ever. I knew then that whatever was in that hospital had taken hold of me. I wasn't just losing my mind, I was losing myself. I spent the night tossing and turning, haunted by Hannah's words, "Don't let it take you." I couldn't shake the feeling that something about the hospital was shifting inside me. Morning came, but I felt more exhausted than ever. I knew I had to revisit that place. I needed answers. I arrived at the hospital just after dawn. The mist hung low outside, making everything seem eerily quiet. I forced myself to push through the front entrance, heart hammering. The inside felt even colder than before, as if it had absorbed the night's darkness. I headed straight for the upstairs room where I found the journal. I wanted to understand how it connected to Hannah. But before I reached the stairs, I stopped cold. The faint echo of whispers drifted through the corridors. Low, indistinct voices reverberated off the walls. I couldn't tell what they were saying, but instinctively, I knew they were not welcoming. I pressed on, but the atmosphere felt thicker, suffocating. I finally reached the same room, the door now fully ajar. I stepped inside, and a wave of unease washed over me. But I needed to know. I grabbed the journal from where I'd left it and opened it. The pages felt alive under my fingers, and as I read, I found new entries. They were detailed accounts of treatments and the effects they had on the patients, but they seemed unusually intimate. I could almost feel the emotions: fear, despair, longing. One entry caught my attention. It was scratched out, as if the writer had panicked while writing it. I squinted. The words were, "Hannah needs help," followed by what looked like a drawn-out scrawl. My heart raced. It was dated just a few days before I saw her. Why didn't I notice? I muttered to myself. It was as if the journal was trying to lead me somewhere. Suddenly, the whispers escalated. They grew louder, chaotic. I closed my eyes, gripping the journal tightly. The air felt electric, charged with a tension I had never experienced. Then, just as suddenly, everything went silent. I took a breath, but it felt like the room had shrunk around me. I opened my eyes, and standing in front of me was Hannah's ghostly figure, her face drawn in pain. "You shouldn't have come back. Hannah," I gasped, stepping back. "What happened to you?" "Please," she pleaded, tears streaming down her ghostly cheeks. "It's changing you. You have to get out." I turned, looking for an escape, but the room felt enclosed, claustrophobic. The shadows began to move, swirling around me. "No!" I shouted, the journal slipping from my
fingers and crashing to the floor. Everything spun. I could feel the cold grip of fear tightening around my throat. I had to get out, but just as I took a step towards the door, it slammed shut, trapped. I could feel the darkness closing in, and in the overwhelming silence, I knew something was coming for me. I could sense it waiting just beyond the door. I needed a plan, fast. But what could I do against something that wanted to keep me here? That's when I saw it, a glimmer near where the journal had fallen. I felt a surge of curiosity amidst the fear. What was it? I had to find out, but I wasn't sure it was safe. I knelt down, reaching for the glimmer. My fingers brushed against something cold and metallic. I pulled it closer to my eyes. A small mirror. It was tarnished, but I could still see my reflection, distorted and pale. More than that, I could see movement behind me in the corner of the room. Hannah's figure flickered, wavering like a flame. "No, you can't look!" she cried out, her voice rising in panic. I hesitated. Something deep within me urged me to turn around, but fear rooted me in place. "What's behind me?" I whispered, dread creeping into my voice. I can't hold it back for long," she stammered, glancing nervously toward the doorway. "You need to leave. You have to fight it." Suddenly, the air around me crackled with energy. I swung the mirror toward the door, hoping to catch whatever was lurking there. Instead, I saw shadows flickering, twisting and folding in ways they shouldn't. I gasped, the reality of the moment hitting me. Was that Hannah's fate? "Keep it away!" she screamed, but I could barely hear her over the cacophony growing around me. The whispers returned, louder than before, as if they were fueled by my fear. I forced myself to focus. The mirror was my shield. As long as I held it, maybe I could face whatever was coming. I directed it toward the door, where the shadows danced wildly. The whispers echoed against the walls, sounding almost like rage. But the shadows had other plans. They surged forth, breaking free from the confines of the doorway like storm clouds spilling into a room. I felt them brush against me, slick and cold, draining warmth from my skin. I stumbled back, clutching the mirror to my chest. "Hannah!" I shouted, desperation leaking into my voice. "Stay strong," she urged, her own translucent form now mingling with the shadows. "You must remember." Remember what? My mind raced. As the darkness closed in, I felt something snap inside me. Deep down, hidden under layers of confusion and fear, I remembered the journal's words. Hannah needs help. If that was true, then maybe I could help her. I focused, locking eyes with her. "What do you need me to do?" "Find the truth," she replied, her voice steadying. "It's here. The answer is here. They must discover it!" The shadows recoiled slightly at her command, as if they were afraid of the power in her voice. I glanced around the room, hunting for the next clue. My heart raced. Where was I supposed to look? Then it hit me. The journal. I sprinted toward it, the mirror held high as a barrier against the encroaching darkness. I snatched it off the floor, flipping to the earliest pages. I needed to find something original, something untainted by fear. As I turned the pages frantically, I could feel the air shift. A new energy was entering the room. I flipped past the intimate entries, past the frantic scrawls, until I stopped at a sketch. It was a representation of the hospital. But the more I looked, the more I noticed a hidden detail. A small room marked in the corner, one not mentioned anywhere else. My pulse quickened. "Hannah, there's a room!" I exclaimed. But the shadows surged again, lashing out as if trying to hide it from me. "Go!" she cried, panic back in her voice. "You have to hurry!" With a newfound determination, I bolted toward the door. I grasped the handle, my heart racing, but before I could turn it, I felt a cold grip on my shoulder. Someone or something was trying to stop me. I turned slowly, bracing myself to face whatever terror awaited me. I had to know if I could see it, or if it could see me. The moment I turned, a chill washed over me, and I was face to face with a figure cloaked in shadow. It stood tall, but I could hardly make out its features. The outline shifted, as if it was made of smoke, curling and dissipating in the dim light. My breath faltered. "Who are you?" I managed to croak out, gripping the mirror tighter. "Stay where you are," it hissed, the voice raspy and fragmented, vibrating through the air. I felt my heart pound in response, each beat growing louder in the suffocating silence. "You shouldn't be here." I took a cautious step back, but the room seemed to size around me, squeezing tight. "I'm here for Hannah," I shouted, finding an ounce of courage. "What have you done to her?" The figure's laughter echoed through the air, mocking and cold. I didn't recognize it, but there was something familiar about the sound, something that made my skin crawl. "Hannah," it sneered, "she is lost, just like you will be." I felt the shadows at my feet slither upward, pulsing in rhythm with the whispers, thousands of voices overlapping in a droning cacophony. The mirror felt heavier in my hand, and I knew I had to act quickly. "Get away from me!" I yelled, swinging the mirror toward the figure. The reflection flared bright for a moment, illuminating the room, but it felt like time had stopped. I could see the figure flinch. "Hannah!" I called again, desperately searching for her and hoping she could somehow hear me. "Tell me what to do!" With a flicker, Hannah's image returned, her ghostly presence cutting through the darkness. "Use the mirror. You can find the truth, but you must confront the shadows." The figure lunged, a surge of dark energy filling the room. I braced myself, raising the mirror as it moved closer,
But something unexpected happened. The darkness recoiled, as if it sensed a threat in the reflection. I seized the opportunity and stepped forward, pushing the mirror ahead. "Show me," I demanded, my voice trembling but resolute. And then the surface of the mirror shifted, revealing blurred images swirling within. It was a haunting mix of flashes, Hannah smiling, the hospital's hallways, and then more shadows, tangled in unrecognizable shapes. "Focus," Hannah urged, her voice melding with the chaos around me. "The truth will set you free." I squinted, trying to make sense of it as the shadows grew restless, struggling to close in on me. Through the haze, something caught my eye, a flicker of light trapped in an image. I leaned closer, feeling an almost magnetic pull toward it. "Look deeper," Hannah insisted. But then, in that instant of revelation, the shadows snapped back and I was thrown to the ground. The mirror slipped from my grasp, clattering away from me. Darkness wove itself around my legs, pulling me deeper into its grasp. I gasped, fighting against the weight of it all. "Don't let go," Hannah shouted, her voice a beacon in the tempest. "You can't give in." I clawed at the floor, straining to reach the mirror, but the shadows coiled tighter. Suddenly, I felt another presence behind me. It wasn't the figure. It was something else, something wanting me to stay. A horrifying realization washed over me. This darkness wasn't just a threat. It was inviting. Then everything went dark. The sudden darkness was suffocating. I felt the familiar weight of fear settle over me, but it wasn't the bones of an abandoned building tugging at my mind. It was something deeper, something that felt alive. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to block it out, but the oppressive gloom pushed against my thoughts. "Hannah!" I shouted into the void. "I won't give up!" In response, a rush of cold air swirled around me, like breath escaping from unseen lips. It carried a whisper, indistinct yet chilling. I strained to listen. "Find the truth," it seemed to say, but I couldn't be sure. My heart raced as I remembered the flicker of light in the mirror. Had it all been a hallucination? When I opened my eyes, I found myself sprawled on the floor of the room, the shadows still thick, but strangely unmoving. The mirror lay a few feet away, dull and lifeless. I crawled toward it, my palms scraping against the cold ground. The shadows brushed against my ankles, but they felt weak now. Perhaps they were as confused as I was. I reached for the mirror, touching the cool surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a ripple coursed through it, like a stone dropped into a still pond. To my shock, colors began
To bleed through, brightening the darkness around me. "Show me, Hannah," I pleaded, eyes glued to the swirling patterns. Suddenly, her image sharpened, a snapshot of her smiling in the hospital, bright light pouring through the window. But this time, something was different. In the background of the reflection, another figure appeared, dark and twisted, looming over her. Its outline was vague, but I could see the grin stretching unnaturally across its face. Panic surged through me. Was that the figure from before? "Hannah!" I yelled again, reaching out, desperate for her to hear me. "Don't trust it!" As if in response, Hannah looked toward the camera, her expression shifting from joy to fear. She mouthed something, but the words twisted and blurred. "Help me," I thought I saw her say. Just then, the reflection shifted again, cutting to another scene, the hospital hallway echoing with distant cries. "What is happening to you?" I whispered, even as the shadows began to swirl faster around me. Suddenly, I felt feet beneath me, firm and cold, like something had anchored me. My surroundings shifted, and I was taken somewhere new. The mirror vanished, and the shadows parted, just enough for me to see a door ahead, slightly ajar. Light spilled through the crack,
and I could hear muffled voices. "Stay there, Hannah," I urged, realizing I was no longer alone. Shadows twitched uneasily, seeming to hold their breath as if waiting for some signal. Gathering my strength, I took a step toward the door, but before I could reach it, a voice echoed from behind me, low and mocking. "You think you can save her? You're mistaken. She belongs here now." I turned slowly, dread pooling in my gut. The figure stood just beyond the edge of the light, its shape shifting ominously. My heart raced again, a tight clenching in my chest. "I will not let you take her," I declared, steeling myself. Then, in that moment of defiance, I heard it, the faintest echo of laughter, chilling and cruel. The door loomed ahead, but the darkness pressed down again, tightening around me. I had to act fast. I couldn't hesitate. With all my remaining courage, I sprinted toward the door. But as I rushed past the shadowed figure, I felt a hand on my shoulder, holding me back. "Everything will be revealed," it whispered, voice lingering threateningly in my ears just as I broke through to the other side. That's when I saw the horrifying truth laid bare in front of me, and I froze. My breathing quickened as reality shifted again. The room beyond the door was bright, almost blinding compared to the darkness I had just escaped. It smelled sterile, like antiseptic, and something sweetly familiar. I turned slowly, my heart still racing. I had to gather my bearings, but when I looked around, my stomach dropped. Rows of hospital beds filled the space, each one neatly made, but empty. Machines beeped softly, monitoring nothing. As I stepped further inside, the voices I had heard before grew louder, but morphed into a cacophony of echoing whispers. Each word felt like a shadow wrapping around me, cold and unwelcome. "Hannah," I called again, desperation creeping into my voice. I walked down the aisle between the beds, my palms brushing against the metal frames. I could feel the energy shifting, prickling at the air. It was like stepping onto a battlefield. The tension was palpable. The whispers intensified, swirling around me like a storm. "Find her, save her, she is ours." Something shifted in my peripheral vision. I turned, my breath hitching as I caught sight of a figure standing near the far end of the room. It was her, Hannah, dressed in a patient gown, her once bright eyes now dull and clouded. I rushed towards her, heart pounding in my ears. "Hannah, I've been looking for you," I said, extending my hand. She didn't move, and dread filled me. Instead, she stared at the ground, as if entranced. The whispers grew louder, now a frenzy. She must stay, forever. They screamed in unison, each word echoing off the walls. "Hannah, look at me," I pleaded, shaking her lightly by the shoulder. At last, she lifted her gaze, but instead of the warmth I had always known, I was met with an emptiness that sent a chill through my spine. "You shouldn't have come here," she murmured, voice distant and hollow, like a puppet in the hands of a cruel master. "What do you mean?" I felt every muscle in my body taut with fear. "We can go back. You don't belong here." As she blinked slowly, I saw something shift behind her. Shadows danced, and out of the corner of my eye, the dark figure from before loomed with a predatory presence. It was watching, waiting. "Hannah, please." I stepped closer, trying to bridge the gap between us. "You have to fight it." In that moment, her eyes flickered, glimmers of recognition breaking through. "He's strong," she whispered, and just like that, the bright light of the room dimmed, leaving only shadows to suffocate the space. "The truth will bind you," echoed the figure, its voice curling like smoke around my thoughts. I could feel Hannah pulling away, her fear resonating within me. "No, I won't let him take you," I yelled, reaching for her with both hands. But before I could touch her, the shadows surged, stifling my movement. Panic surged in my throat. That's when I saw it, the shadow behind Hannah, raising its hand, and my heart raced with a crushing realization. It was controlling her. "Look away!" I shouted, closing my eyes in a desperate attempt to break the spell. But the whispers became a roaring tide, drowning out my own voice. No matter how tightly I squeezed my eyes shut, I could still feel its gaze, cold and mocking, and the dread that filled the room pressed down like a lead weight. Then, everything went dark. I blinked as awareness returned, the darkness slipping away like a shroud. My heart thudded loudly in my chest, a harsh reminder that I was still here, alone and unwelcome. Terrified, I opened my eyes to find myself back in the sterile room, but it felt different. The lights flickered overhead, casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls. "Hannah?" I called out, my voice trembling. I felt the cold encircle me like an unwelcome hug. I was still trapped. The shadows at the far end of the room shifted, making me freeze. "You shouldn't have come," a voice whispered, barely above a breath. This time, it wasn't Hannah. I whipped my head toward the sound. A figure emerged from the darkness, one I couldn't fully make out. I could feel its eyes on me. They were cold, predatory. My instinct screamed at me to turn and run, but my legs felt rooted to the floor. The figure stepped closer, merging with the shadows around it, but I couldn't retreat. "You're too late for her," it hissed. "She's ours now." My instinct was to fight. I had to save Hannah. "Let her go," I shouted, feeling anger and fear colliding inside me. "You don't own her." The figure laughed, a sudden mocking sound that echoed through the silent room. "You think you can save her? You will join her soon." That threat sent chills down my spine. I ran my fingers through my hair, searching for some clarity. Then I remembered the whispers, the urgency in them. Find her, save her. I had to find a way to reach Hannah, to pull her back from whatever dark grip was holding her. Straining my ears, I listened harder. "Hannah, fight it!" I yelled, my voice cracking. "You're stronger than this." At the mention of her name, the figure recoiled slightly, hesitation washing across its shadowy form. I seized the moment. "You know who I am. You can break free." Suddenly, I heard a faint echo amidst the whispers. "Help me." It was Hannah's voice, weak but real. Panic surged as I felt the ground beneath shift. The shadows rippled. "Where are you?" I shouted, eyes darting around. "I can't lose you." Another flicker of light flashed, illuminating a portion of the room. There she was. Hannah stood so close yet miles away, eyes still clouded, as if she was a mere silhouette of her former self. "It's so dark here," she murmured, barely above a whisper. "No, Hannah, stay with me," I begged, feeling urgency clawing at my insides. The shadowy figure stirred, its laugh now a low growl. It stepped forward, causing the air to thicken around me. "Hannah, hold on." I took a brave step toward her, though dread settled in my bones. I had to believe she could hear me, that there was still hope. But then I saw it, an unexpected movement from the corner of my eye, and my breath caught. The figure clenched its fist as the shadows twisted and morphed, looming over me like a storm ready to break. I realized the whispers had stopped, replaced by a single chilling command resonating through the space. "Join us." Suddenly, the lights flickered off completely, plunging me into darkness once more. The ground shook, and a cold dread filled my heart. I had lost the light, and in the darkness, I was utterly and completely alone. I stumbled forward, trying to find my bearings in the pitch blackness. Panic clawed at my throat. I couldn't believe this was happening. Where was Hannah? "Please," I whispered into the void.
I need you. Silence wrapped around me like a thick fog. Just when I thought the quiet might consume me whole, I heard it. A faint rustle, like fabric brushing against something solid. My heart raced. "Hannah?" I called out, my voice barely a whisper. "Is that you? Help!" The voice was faint, distant, but I recognized it. "I can't see you." "Stay with me," I shouted, fighting against the fear that threatened to drown me. I took a slow step forward, my foot finding a loose spot on the ground. I nearly lost my balance, but steadied myself. I couldn't let darkness take me. I had to find her. Suddenly, a flicker of light sparked to life, illuminating a pathway in front of me. My breath hitched. I hadn't expected light, not here. The beams cut through the shadows, revealing the stark, clinical walls of the sterile room. But the flickering lights cast strange shapes, twisting and turning as if they had a life of their own. Then I saw it. Red stains on the floor. My stomach turned as I approached. What had happened here? I touched the wall beside me, my fingers tracing the cold paint, and felt a shudder run through the room. "Hannah!" I cried again, urgency filling my voice. "Where are you?" "I'm here," her voice broke through again, clearer this time. It had a sharp edge, like glass. "But I can't stay. You shouldn't have come." "What do you mean?" I pleaded, wrestling with rising dread. "Hannah, please, Before I could finish, the shadows stirred violently, swirling in on themselves. The figure emerged once again, its form more defined in the flickering light. "She's right," it hissed, its voice low and menacing. "You've come too far. It's not your time." I stepped back, my heart pounding wildly as its gaze locked onto me. I could see twisted features, a grotesque mockery of a human face. "What do you want?" I shouted, desperate but defiant. "Your soul," it said simply, as if the answer was obvious. "And the little one, of course. She won't escape." "No!" I screamed, reclaiming a fragment of courage. "You can't have her. I won't let you." In that moment, something within me ignited. I couldn't just stand still and let fear take over. I dashed forward despite the shadows encroaching on me. I had to reach Hannah, but with each step, the walls seemed to close in, and the sensation of being pulled back intensified. "Join us," the figure urged, its voice smooth like silk and filled with menace. I turned my head quickly, desperate to see Hannah. "Hannah, fight the darkness! Remember our promise!" "Promise?" she echoed softly, her voice wavering and fading like a candle about to go out. I moved into the light, ignoring the darkness that clawed at my heels. "I won't lose you!" Then everything went dark again, and I felt a weight pressed down on my chest. The figure had lunged, and I was engulfed in absolute silence. I was lost in confusion, the air thick with a tension that made it hard to breathe. Then I felt it, a pulling sensation, like the ground had shifted beneath me. The last thing I heard was Hannah's voice, faint but clarion. "Help me!" And just like that, I was swallowed by the void. I gasped as air rushed into my lungs and the darkness splintered around me. Suddenly, I was lying on a cold, smooth surface. My heart raced as I blinked, confirming my surroundings. Dim light filtered through a small window, casting pale shadows that flickered unsettlingly. The sterile scent of antiseptic hung heavily in the air, but it felt wrong. Too heavy, too suffocating. I pushed myself up. "Hannah!" My voice echoed brightly against the silence. Panic surged again as I realized she might be anywhere. "Hannah!" I surveyed the room. Everything looked the same, but utterly different. The once familiar old hospital that we used to explore had twisted into something sinister. The walls seemed to pulse with an unseen energy. My legs wobbled as I stood, and I had to lean against the wall to keep my balance. I squeezed my eyes shut, willing the fear to leave me, but it was no use. The echo of my voice faded into the corners of the room. I took a cautious step, and the floor creaked menacingly beneath me. I remembered the stains, the red glimmers that had soaked into the linoleum. This place was haunted by history I didn't want to confront. "Hannah!" I yelled again, desperation coating my words. The emptiness swallowed my voice. That's when I felt it, a chill creeping up my spine. Cold fingers brushed against the back of my neck, ice running down the center of my being. I spun around, and my eyes darted over the shadowy edges of the room, searching for a figure, anything that might confirm my senses. There was nothing but silence and growing dread. "Hannah, where are you?" I murmured to myself. A memory flashed in my mind, a happy visit, the two of us giggling as we explored these very halls. This wasn't the same place anymore. Then, out of the darkness, came a faint sound, a whisper. I leaned in, straining to hear. "Help, please." My heart pounded. It was her voice. I turned towards the source, but shadows danced mockingly along the walls, obscuring my vision. "I'm coming," I shouted, brave words spilling out even as uncertainty wrapped around me. I ran through the labyrinth of the old hospital. Doors swung open and closed on their own, seeming to push me back, testing my resolve.
Just a little further, I told myself, fear and hope colliding in a chaotic blend. Every corner I turned led to more darkness, more whispers. "She's waiting," a voice hissed in the air, echoing my thoughts and deepening my fear. Then I spotted a flicker of movement, a ghostly shape, small and faint. "Hannah!" I screamed, breathless. I rushed forward, nearly tripping over an unseen obstacle. I expected joy, relief when I reached her. Yet as I neared, I felt a pull of something dark, something suffocating. That was when I saw it. The creeping shadows were no longer just shadows. They formed into something solid, something grotesque. A body twisted within the darkness, and I froze. "Hannah?" I whispered, fear gripping my heart. But she was altered, her eyes wide yet unseeing, her mouth twisted in an unnatural smile. "Come join us," she said, her voice refracting into something chilling and otherworldly. My heart dropped as the figure behind her loomed closer, its features indistinct yet undeniably familiar. I stumbled back. "No!" I yelled, the sound tearing from my throat. But the shadows tightened their grip around me. I was being pulled in multiple directions, torn between two desperate cries. But which one would pull me deeper into darkness, and which one would lead me to light? Hannah's smile turned into a frown, and suddenly everything went silent as the walls began to close in again. I felt the cold grip of panic flooding my body. I could barely breathe as I struggled against the encroaching shadows. "Hannah, please!" I shouted, desperation spilling over. "Fight it! Remember who you are!" But the darkness only deepened, swirling around us like a tempest. The shadows flickered, twisting into grotesque shapes that stretched and distorted, threatening to consume both of us. The figure behind her, it felt familiar, yet features still eluded me. "You can't save her," it hissed, voice slicing through the air like a shard of glass. "Join us, and you'll make her whole again." I felt the weight of its words, heavy with despair and temptation. "No!" I yelled, summoning every ounce of defiance in me. In my heart, I knew there was still a flicker of hope left in Hannah, if I could just reach it. With sheer determination, I pushed through the shadows, each step pulling me closer to her. "Hannah, look at me!" I cried, taking her hands in mine. Her skin felt icy, and I could see panic flickering behind her vacant eyes.
Don't let it take you. Remember us. Remember our adventures. For a moment, confusion flickered in her eyes. Shadows pressed against us, but I refused to give up. You have to fight. You're stronger than this. A glimmer of recognition sparked within her, and she began to tremble. I can't see, she whispered, voice breaking. The darkness shifted, stretching to pull her away. It's too strong. No, I screamed, wrapping my arms around her as the figure surged toward us. The shadows writhed and hissed, but I held on tight, willing my feelings to seep into her. You're not alone. I won't let you go. The figure lunged, shadows reaching for my throat, but I tightened my grip on Hannah. Remember us, I shouted, eyes locked onto hers. All those memories, all of our adventures together. You're not just a shell, you're my friend. A flicker sparked again in her eyes, confusion giving way to recognition. I remember, she stuttered, her voice stronger. The park, the swings, the laughter. In that moment, the intensity of the shadows faltered. The figure shrieked, furious that we were breaking its hold, but I refused to let go. Fight it, I urged. You're powerful. Then I felt it, Hannah's hand tightening around mine. I will fight, she declared, and for a breathless instant, the shadows began to recede, uncoiling from our bodies as light seeped into the room. It wasn't the bright warmth I had expected. It was cold and sterile, yet it pushed back against the shadows fiercely. The figure roared in anger, shadows expanding fractally around it like a storm, but their control wavered. No, you belong to me, it shrieked, but I could see it falter, losing its strength as our bond grew. With renewed courage, we stood together against the darkness. We will not join you, Hannah and I shouted in unison. The shadows writhed, their form twisting violently, but more light seeped into the cracks, growing stronger with our conviction. Yet, just as we thought we had gained the upper hand, darkness surged back, enveloping us in a swirling tempest once again. Find the truth, I heard whispering amidst the chaos, like an echo of something deeper. It's not just your fight. Suddenly, my vision blurred, and I felt a punch in my gut as if the world around us shattered. I opened my eyes to find myself back in the hospital corridor, heart racing. The sterile scent of antiseptic still hung in the air, but there was no sign of Hannah or the dark figure. Where are you? I shouted, heart pounding as I spun around. The empty halls loomed, echoing with whispers, but I could feel something lingering. A clue was hidden in the hospital still. Hannah had given me the strength to fight. Now I had to seek the truth. I bolted through the grim hallway, desperate to find the source of light amidst the lingering shadows. My heart raced as I ran towards the room where we had first confronted the darkness. The walls seemed to pulse as if responding to my urgency. Fumbling with the door, I pushed it open, breath hitching in my throat. The room was dimly lit, but under the weight of something absent, like a heartbeat fading away. Then my eyes fell on it, the journal, still lying on the floor. Instinctively, I knelt to grab it, feeling its cold, leathery cover against my skin. I flipped through the pages, desperation consuming me. As I read, words began to leap out, fragmented but clearer than before. Stories of patients lost, details about evacuation plans, memories of the hospital that begged to be heard. Then, one entry caught my breath, a faded sketch in the corner. It was a room I had never seen before. Find me. The words seemed to beckon, shaky yet filled with urgency. I could feel a pull in my chest, guiding me to where I needed to go. I stood, determination surging through me as I moved towards the new door, heart racing as hope flickered like a candle lapping at the shadows. But even as I felt the presence of the hidden room haunt me, I couldn't help but wonder if I was racing toward my salvation or another trap laid in the dark.
The unknown awaited me ahead, filled with questions about what I might find. Lost memories, lingering shadows, and the echo of my forgotten friend entwined with each heartbeat. I steeled myself, taking a deep breath as I reached for the handle, feeling the weight of the shadows still pressing against my back, uncertain of what awaited behind the door.